Okay, so the role of the Table Topics Master is obviously to give feedback to the table topics that have come before. And it's usually quite hectic and trying to give you a, what in my opinion is, a positive, and then something that you can help you improve. And today, hopefully, is not so hectic. It was quite a nice topic. Thank you very much for all those questions, which I thought was quite easy in terms of being open-ended for people to answer, because sometimes table topics can be quite closed and that can be a bit tricky, but I thought it was quite open. So the first one something to help you get to where you are today. And I loved Daniela's humour. So there was great humour. She was like, yeah, it's about time I got this Oscar. And, my own modesty, but I deserved the Oscar. I thought that was very, very nicely done and delivered. I would suggest perhaps one point to improve would be moving around the stage a bit more. So you mentioned that if you were in a gym, and then if you were at work or at home, that to me felt like opportunities to move around or do some action points there. Moving on to Alex with the celebrity you can't stand, but everybody else loves. I enjoyed the vocal variety, the passion of the hatred or the dislike, shall we say, and then the the way that you were expressing the way that, polarized opinions on Kim Kardashian. I think there was opportunities for action points for your gestures, like the hair pulling. You could have definitely mimed that, and the shouting, not necessarily doing the shouting, but some hand gestures to go with your phrases. And to Barnaby, with movies you don't get, but others seem to say is amazing. I love the amazingness of the waffle that you managed to generate. That sounded like phrases and something, but it was pretty generally vague, and the way that you were able to come and have all these sentences that flowed out through your mouth was just like phenomenal. And it's just I'd suggest that with your delivery, sometimes it's the pace that perhaps you could slow down a bit. But I like the good gestures, that it wasn't going over your head, that it was more like on your belly. I like that particular. On to Ash with what was the problem with Marmite? And I like the way he subverted that. So there wasn't a dislike for Marmite, and he showed us why he liked that. I thought that was a good pivot of changing from Marmite to marmalade, and there was a bit of alliteration, which was quite good. One point to recommend to change would be, again, you've moved on from when you first come on to table topics, that you could give yourself a bit more credit by just expanding a bit of why perhaps marmalade wasn't so good. So you managed to expand on the Marmite, maybe give yourself a bit more time to go and say a bit more about marmalade. Barry's This Is Why I Love Life. Barry, you have improved in the sense that you're not getting the audience to help you on this one, and that was very good. But you did I thought that was good audience engagement, because you were picking on topics that had already been mentioned, that you were drawing the audience in with that. And I like the good phrase of, if you have a setback, that you should step back. That was nice phrase that you had there. A point of improvement might be to give yourself some pauses. You threw us a lot of phrases and people. I thought that potentially that if you paused a bit after each one, that the audience could have that and have it sink in a bit more. But it was definitely a progression with table topics and being able to just use your stage and your presence. I think you moved around quite well. There was a good use of the stage. And lastly, Yuhi, the things that you are good at. I like the way that you dressed that head on with, it was your curiosity and you're wanting to know more, and the way that you engaged the audience with again, like Barry, picking on what was previously said, Barry's love of life and other points that have already been said, and kind of drew your topics and you expanded it quite well. You did start with talking to the audience, but at points you were talking to the table topic master, and that kind of limited it just focused down. So sometimes when you get fixed like that, you don't notice it yourself, but just come back to addressing the audience. But overall, yeah, it's lovely, good table topics, good engagement. Thank you.